This video intended for educational purposes.
Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome back for another Minecraft 1.8 Snapshot. This is 14W30C, and I'm holding in my hand the head of a tiny cat. Don't let that distract you from the flag that's on top of my head. All will be explained very soon. This week's Snapshot has some awesome features and surprises, so let's get into it. First up is the new decorative banner item, a customizable flag that you can personalize with dye patterns to make over 4 quintillion possible designs. Don't let that overwhelm you though, they're not as complicated as they seem, and soon you'll be designing your own custom banner to proudly fly in your domain. So to craft one, you need 6 of the same color of wool, it could be any color, with a stick at the bottom, similar to a sign, and you can also place them, just like a sign, in different directions, or even hang them up. And look how majestically they billow and blow in the wind, really cool little animation there. So now, once you have your banner, you can use dye to add some of the 33 different patterns available. A banner can have 6 different patterns on it, so you can layer them to make some really cool designs, as you can see here. Now, here are all the different patterns. I'm going to go through them really quick, but I should add that they're likely going to get their names changed in the coming weeks to better fit with existing banner terms in the real world. Now, the placement of dye is the key thing here. You can put the banner pretty much anywhere, but you got to have your dye in the right spot. So right here we have the bottom left square, bottom right square, top right square, and top left square if you want to put a little color in the corner there. If you put your dye in the center, you can make a little circle, which is nice looking, make a little diamond, and you can get a rhombus. Then here we have the top triangle and bottom triangle there, and up here is the right diagonal and left diagonal. Now, in this middle area here, we've got all the different stripe patterns you can do. So there's the bottom stripe, the top stripe here, there is a center stripe. Most of these are pretty intuitive of how you do them. There's a right stripe and, of course, a left stripe. There's the center middle stripe there, and then we have the down left diagonal and down right diagonal little lines there, and of course there is a cross, which is awesome. There's also another cross. They're both just called cross, but you do them differently and they have different patterns there. They'll probably get different names in the future. Then we have horizontal half for the top half to be colored, and the vertical half for the left side there. And then we have some really cool little pattern designs here. So there is the small stripes. You do 2 little lines of dye and you can make stripes on there. There is the Y-shaped pattern to make a gradient. You can see it kind of fades as it goes down like a gradient there. Then we have the bottom saw and the top saw. Make sure you don't confuse these with the triangle ones. It's the opposite there. So if you want the top one, you got to kind of have it facing towards up there. Then we have the creeper face little design here, and you might notice that there's a creeper head that is used to make this. I'm going to talk about why it looks so weird and how exactly you would get one of these to make the creeper design, but you can also add some color to that. And then over here we have the brick design. You can just use a brick block to do that, and you can color that as well. We have the wither skull to make the skull design if you want to make a Jolly Roger for your pirate ship, and you can make that colored as well. And then up here you use an ox-eye daisy to make the flower design, and you can add that with a bit of color. And then last but not least, a few more here. If you want to make the Mojang logo, which is called a thing for some reason in the banner terms, you use one of the golden notch apples. That's the one that uses the gold block, so it's very expensive. It's a very opulent design to put on your banner. You can also color that as well, and then you can add a border with a bunch of dye around the edge there. And then last we have the curly border if you use some vine, and you can color that as well. So they're kind of similar to how the fireworks work, and Jeb designed these as well, so you can see why they're very similar, but they have a lot more use for them for decorative purposes, and they're more permanent. Now if you want to copy a banner, you just need to add another banner to the crafting table and take your original one, but it has to have the same base color as the one that you are copying. So this one started out as a blue banner and I added some yellow stripes, so if I want to copy it, I have to use a blue base banner. But as long as you have tons of wool and stuff, it's very easy to copy these. Now if you have your banner, and like I mentioned, you can only have 6 layers on it, you need to be able to erase the pattern on it very easily. Well, you can do that if you take your banner here and you go up to a cauldron with water in it. If you right click, it'll slowly remove each layer of patterns, starting with the most recent until you're back to your base color there. So that's how you can go through and edit it if you accidentally dye it the wrong color. Now over here I wanted to show, this is a red banner with yellow stripes, but you can see it's got a bit of orange there. If you actually do yellow stripes twice, it'll actually start to get the orange there to fade. The layers aren't completely opaque. They have a bit of transparency there, so you can keep adding on. These are, each one is adding another layer of yellow stripes, but it kind of goes away after a bit. But yeah, you can see there's definitely a big difference between one layer and two layers, so you can layer them a couple times if you want them to be more vibrant. And here's a few different patterns. We've got the American flag, we've got the Union Jack, there's a Dark Souls Praise the Sun banner there. This one was made by Mr.Greggs on Reddit. He made a cool pumpkin design, little jack-o'-lantern there. There's a Jolly Roger. I made kind of like a spray paint looking one with the Mojang logo and a circle there. The gradient. You can also have little items on item frames behind them, and they'll pop through if they're blocks and stuff. But as you can see, tons of different possibilities. So much cool stuff you can do with these. They're really awesome. Now, a lot of players are hoping that eventually we'll be able to put these on boats as sails or have them on horses. That's a very popular choice, to be able to put them on a horse. So hopefully we'll get those features in the future. Right now, you can put them on your head like I have, but you actually have to use a command to do it. So here's the command right here if you want to replace it with a banner, and then change this number at the end if you want to do different colors. So number 1 would be a red banner, and so on, to change the different color of it. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to wear these a little easier and have them look like they're not just popping out of your head and stuff, and more improvements. Jeb has been adding more to them even within this week, new patterns and stuff. So I'm very hopeful with these banners. I think they're going to be really awesome. He's definitely going to change the names though, because vexillology, I think, is the study of banners and flags and stuff, and there's different terms for things. Like, the background is actually called a field, and a symbol on it, like the creeper symbol, would be called a charge. There's different ones, so he's going to try to rename them to have the accurate real-life terms so that we're not calling them the wrong things, and you might even learn a little bit as you use these. But that is, in the gist, what banners are like. Seems a little complicated, but again, most of it is pretty intuitive how you make them. So I'm curious to see what type of banner designs we'll get and what people will make in the future. Now down here, I was holding this cat head. This is a new little update. Mob heads, when you have them, even with a player head, it actually shows up with that head when you're holding it. And then these, the normal ones that have been in the game, they show up as little 3D things as well. They're not flat anymore. Now, there have been some other changes. You can finally get a bunch of the mob heads in survival. Now, how do you do this? It's actually involved with another thing. You can now summon, if you use the summon command, you can summon, not sumo, summon lightning. So you can make a lightning bolt, which is awesome. You can summon it and strike things with lightning finally without any plugins or anything. That means you could strike villagers with lightning to make witches, and you can strike creepers with lightning to make charged creepers. Now these guys are actually involved with how you get mob heads. So you're going to use these for decorative purposes, of course, if you want, but you're also going to need the creeper head if you want to make the creeper symbol on your banner. Now the way to do this is to get a charged creeper to blow up and kill a mob, any of these variety. You can also get a wither skeleton skull from doing this. So I'm going to light this this creeper here on fire. I got to grab my flint and steel, and then if I light him and he blows up, he should, there we go, he's going to kill, oh, that one killed the other ones, but I can do it again here very easily. It's very rare chance that you're going to get this guy to actually make one of these dudes drop one of them, and you only get one per charged creeper that blows up, so this is a very tough thing to do. Let me see if we got one there. Oh, yep, we got a skeleton skull. So yeah, only one of them in a group and per explosion is going to drop a head, and it's still pretty rare, I believe. I don't think you get it every time, but as you can see, there's a skeleton skull. So yeah, this is a really tough way. You have to get a creeper struck by lightning, I believe, is the only way for the charge creepers to spawn. So I think Dinnerbone even mentioned he might have made this a bit too hard. I hope he eases up on it a little bit, especially if people want to be able to make the flags, and these are only decorative anyways, so it's not a big deal to have them. I'd like to see them be a little bit more common, but at least now we can finally get the other types of skulls in survival. And a really cool thing too, you'll notice if I wear this, it doesn't show the, it's actually a bit bigger on my head, and it doesn't have my skin layer peek through. Usually my little like hair coiffed would go over the creeper head there, but now it doesn't, and they're a little bigger. But it's cool how you can also very easily, if you spawn in these, you can see what player heads they are, and they work a lot better, and they're not just like Steve heads all the time. So now I can put on my my knight helmet and stuff like that. So yeah, lots of cool little additions there. It's awesome that we can finally get those in survival. Now, the other big features, the huge things though, that will affect pretty much everyone, regardless of whether you care about this, is that the game is way faster now. You can even do some cool stuff, like I'm at render distance 15, but now we can actually double and go all the way up to 32. This is crazy. Look how far we can see off in the distance. This is like Optifine level rendering. I can see that there's a desert pyramid there and another temple right on the other side of this village. That's awesome. But yeah, the game is so much faster. I can actually play with this much loaded. I'm not using Optifine or anything, no mods, and the game is way faster thanks to a few different things. They rewrote chunk sorting. They did a bunch of stuff with the threaded chunk loading. Now, if you want to be able to load up to 32 chunks, you need to be using the 64-bit version of Java, and you need at least 2 gigabytes of allocated RAM for Minecraft. So it's a little, you have to kind of have a higher-end machine to get up to that. But even if you're on a lower machine, you should really see some big boosts in FPS and performance to the game. Grom also mentioned that if you turn clouds off, the game actually runs about 20% faster. So if you're having some problems, definitely turn off clouds. They take a lot of power in the game. But yeah, lots of stuff. And if I change my viewpoint, you can see really quick. Usually you'll be able to see the chunks pop in really fast. That's because if you're not looking at a chunk, it actually does not load it. If you're not affecting an area, it won't load it for you to see. So that has sped up the game quite a bit. That was something that Pocket Edition had done, so yeah, they added that to the game, which is really cool. Before I get too distracted, I don't think I mentioned here that another Reddit user, 3D Deaders, did all the numbers and alphabet symbols. That's where these numbers came from, and over here the high banners. You figure out how to do a lot of these really easily by doing a bunch of different layers. So I'll link to that in the description if you want to see how to make letters and different stuff. Now, another thing that really sped up the game is the lighting engine has finally been fixed. Almost all of those annoying black shadows that you would see in the world are gone. They had to revert a little bit of the changes because some trees were not spawning in certain biomes, but for the most part, those black spots should pretty much always be gone. If you go back into an older world that has them, you need to reload different areas, but they should be gone from then on. So that's a really cool thing. There's been we got so many new cool features in this, but just the fact that this performance boost is really making the game run a lot better is probably the best part about this update, because now more people are going to be able to play the game much better. Now, a few other cool things here. If you go into statistics, there's some new statistics for how many villagers you talk to and how many you've traded with, which is pretty cool. There's a new NBT tag where you can make silent entities. So if you use the silent tag, you could make an entity like a creeper not make any sound when it's going to explode or walk around. So you can make some really creepy mobs sneak up on people and stuff like that. If you hit F3, you can see a lot of new info here. There's a bunch of new stuff on the side. You can see how many chunk sections are out of view in different percentages, your OpenGL version, display size, vendor, GPU. So on the right, you can see like how big my display is, what graphic card I'm using, stuff like that. That's kind of cool. And a few of the little bug fixes that got fixed, and you can actually now fly fairly quickly without having to worry about the chunks just not loading in time for you to fly into them. That was a problem. Sometimes you would fly too fast in spectator mode especially, and a lot of the chunks like wouldn't load in time. But now it pretty much loads really well. Like I'm able to record and load in a bunch of new chunks as we go. It's awesome. And if we hit F3 plus A and refresh the chunks, look how fast these all load back in. That is crazy. One last bug. If you look in your inventory, stairs were flipped around in recent snapshots. They have been fixed, so now people can worry no more that the stairs are going to look different. Oh no! Oh, did I survive? Oh, I was in my command there, so it didn't kill me straight away. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Be careful with charge creepers. Look how big of a little crater they can make when they explode. But yeah, definitely try to get those mob skulls in 1.8. Have fun with banners. I want to know what designs you can come up with. I was trying to come up with my own design, but I don't think I can make a bird with these. Some people have been making some really cool stuff. If anyone can come up with a little bird design, I'd like to put it on a striped banner. That would be awesome. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. This is a very exciting snapshot this week. I'm really excited that the game is running so much better, and we also got some new features. 1.8 is probably the best update we've had so far, in my mind. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. As always, if you want to see more about 1.8 and learn about other new features, like the ocean temple, or ocean monuments, the guardian mob, rabbits, all that good stuff, check out my previous snapshots, and I will see you guys next time for more Minecraft snapshot updates. Goodbye.